Good evening, ma.
Hello, good evening. Good evening. Thanks for joining early, Ario. Kamal, I see you. Thanks for joining early. So let's and it's 6 o'clock. Can I see some emojis in the house? It's Read Summit 2024. Is somebody excited to be here? Let me see your emojis. Let me see your emojis in the house. Let me see your emojis in the house. If you're glad you're here, let me see your emojis. I see you, fans. So many emojis. Yes, so yes, so yes, so yes, so yes, so yes, so it's going to be amazing this evening. This is Read Cohort 3 Anniversary Summit, and it's just going to be great. Please, can you introduce yourself in the chat room and where you're joining us from? If we can have your expectations for this evening, it's going to be amazing. My name is Adepoju Oluwatumi, and I'm streaming live from Abuja, Nigeria. So please introduce yourself in the chat room. You just don't know who you're going to meet today. Somebody might meet their spouse in here. Somebody might meet their next business partner in here. So please, let's network in the chat room. Who are you? Where are you joining us from? Thank you. While we listen to the music and read our testimonials for our past course. Thank you. Hey, Vanessa, welcome. Good to see you. Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, from wherever part of the world you're joining us from. Irene from Abuja, you're welcome. Mayawa, my sister from Abuja, you're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome. We're glad to have everyone here in our summit. I think I'll stop admitting people. Susan and Kike, please, I'll need for you to help me on this. Susan, can your camera come up? Let's start work. We are already 10 minutes into this amazing, amazing summit. See my co-host, looking flaming.
Hi, Coach. It feels so surreal
already
to be here
transcending.
We are. It's good to be here. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Transcend.
Okay, so tell us, what are the things that are in for us today for people that are joining and they're even wondering, what is this about?
Okay, so if this is your first time joining us for Summit, just prepare yourself. It's going to be an amazing, amazing time. So prepare your heart, prepare your notepad, prepare everything. Make sure you're in a very calm and quiet place and be ready to learn a lot. Day one speaker, if you haven't seen the flyers, we're talking about building healthy boundaries, and she's an amazing person. If I going through her profile, I was like, whoa, we have amazing guests. In fact, I don't know how Coach did it, to gather these amazing people together for this year's summit. But amazing. Kudos, coach, for this amazing work you're doing. Because I know that it took a lot actually to get them together. So these guests, we're starting with Bralade, and she's loaded. So we should be ready for, in fact, my notepad is here. In fact, I've told my daughter to not even come out. Like, I don't want to see her around me in the next 2 hours because I need to concentrate and, get the best out of this. So it's important that we are very, very much active on the conversation today. For those who do not know, we are on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on LinkedIn. Please check out, read, and follow us so we can get all the amazing and beautiful webinars and things we put out there. Yes, that's it. I think.
Yep. Thank you so very much. So for people that are joining us for the first time, and you are wondering, what is this community even about? READ was a virtual community that was conceptualized some 4 years ago now. Yeah, 4 years ago. This is our 3rd anniversary. We're about to start our 4th cohort. When we finish the summit, we'll be starting our 4th cohort. And it's been amazingly crazy. Our mantra is very simple. As the word is read, we've made up our minds that we will read ourselves out of mediocrity. We will read ourselves out of poverty. We will read ourselves out of sabotaging and limiting behaviors. So we literally read a book every month. We review the book in the community. We have an in-house closed community where we do all of these things. Though, as Susan said, we have the Facebook, we have our Instagram page, but you can't really get the meat like when you are part of the free coaching session. And I'm glad to announce to you that READ is 100% free. Now, what else do we do beyond reading? We have coaching sessions. I've spoken about that. We have a webinar every month where we bring seasoned speakers to come and talk to us on mind-shifting topics. And towards the end of the session, READ typically, each cohort runs for a year. We'll start the next cohort in September, and we're going to end by June next year, same as this. Towards the end of the session, we always have seasoned industry leaders to mentor people for the last 3 months. And I can tell you that the change has been tremendous. For people that are just joining us, I would replay some of the testimonials we've had in one of the courts. Like, every time we sit back and we look at these testimonials, we are humbled. The lyrics of the song, we used Michael, King of Pop's We Are the World. There are so many problems in the world right now. There's so much noise going on social media. But at the end of the day, if you and I do not stand up to solve this problem, the problem is going to remain unsolved. Who is going to do it? What will the next generation say about you and I? That we are the generation that complained about everything and did not do anything about it. No, that can be you. That can be me, Susan. That can be you. That can be me, Ofems. We got to do something about the problems and the society so that posterity can speak for us. So just in another 1-2 minutes, I'm going to share the testimonial for one of the real people. Real testimonials, got some people on the spot. It's been amazing. We have footprint in over 10 countries. And I like to say that somebody designed social media. Somebody designed Zoom that we are using to communicate now. And these things were created out of a problem. People were thinking innovatively. So the story I heard about Zoom is it was designed by a Chinese man that was very far from his sweetheart. and the commute time was so far, and he wanted to be able to speak to her face to face, real time speaking. And the end result is Zoom, a multi-billion company, that somebody was able to think out of the box to solve a problem. So I tell people it's not enough to think about a problem. What solution are you bringing to the table? And that is what this is all about. I can see that our speaker is on the line. I saw her come in. Bralade, my dear, amazing sister. Thank you so much for doing this. She's not doing it because it's convenient. She's doing it because she truly, genuinely cares. She's joining us all the way from Texas, Houston. And she's somebody that when I hear her talk about boundaries, it's just amazing. It's just amazing. I've been telling her I'm looking forward to the conversation today. So tell me in the chat room, when you hear the word boundary, what comes to your mind? Let's even gist a bit. Let's just a bit. When you hear the word boundary, what comes into your mind? Please, as you're coming in, introduce yourself in the chat room so that we can recognize you and welcome you. When you hear the word boundaries, what comes into your mind? Okay, Gospel from Imo, you're welcome. Thanks for joining. Catherine from Uganda, thanks for joining. Nice to have you here, Catherine. Catherine was part of the very first cohort of Read. I'd like to hear your voice after this. It's been amazing networking with you. Hey, we have our day 3 speaker here. You people, this summit is hot. We have Mr. Bukumi himself. Thanks for joining, sir. Okay, Catherine says that when she hears the word boundary, she thinks of territory. Engineer Issa Procano. Melga, you're welcome, sir. So when you hear Esther says setting standards. Today, we'll be hearing and learning how to set healthy boundaries. And it's extremely important that we know how to set boundaries. A lot of people I've seen, they are so quick to say yes. And you say yes to all the wrong things, such that when you come in, defining limits, thank you very much, our boundaries is defining limits. That when the right things come, the right opportunities come, you are either too tired or you don't even have the bandwidth to now say yes to the right things. But because somebody says boundaries are limits or borders that define something to an extent, Issa says boundary to me is area not to be crossed. Like, don't go there. As that is the limit. Amazing, amazing. Thanks for sharing your thoughts. We'll be having Bralade talk to us on this topic. Let me play a profile for you.
Audio Jungle.
Bralade Koroye-Emenanjo is a multifaceted professional, excelling as a leader, speaker, author, and coach, with a focus on personal power, purpose, and prosperity. A Fortune 100 operations leader in corporate America, she has degrees in chemical engineering and is currently a doctoral candidate in leadership studies. Bralade is a dynamic leader through Lead Essence Coaching and Consulting, the Boundaries Movement, and the Leading Lady Mentoring Program. She fosters leadership qualities, empowering individuals for personal and professional growth. Her leadership has impacted some 2,000 women to live fully, love freely, and lead fearlessly. As best-selling author and visionary behind Preach What You Practice Media, Bralade captivates audiences with best-selling books, A Line in the Sand, and A Tale of Two Wives. Her storytelling prowess amplifies voices and sparks impactful conversations, reflecting her commitment to empowerment and societal change. Her most recent project is CC, a Vox Pop documentary on the leading lady style. Having studied and worked in 3 continents, she considers herself a global citizen and now makes her home in Houston, Texas, with her husband Obi and 3 children.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And that is our speaker. Over to you, Bralade. Thanks so much for coming. I know we have so much to learn today. Guys, we are not joking here. This year, we are not going for anybody. You see my notes? You see my biro? I'm taking notes. I told her I come prepared. I'm coming to transcend. Thank you, Bralade. Over to you.
Hello, everyone. How are you doing today? How are you doing? Put it in the chat. That's how we're communicating today. Today, we're all just kind of, making this happen. I can see you. Glad to be here. Glad to be here. Your audience, first of all, Coach Tumi, like they're on fire and they showed up ready. Like nobody's even messing around playing. They say that we only remember 10% of what we read, but what we discuss, what we engage, what we teach and are taught, we retain up to 95%. So today in here in this chat, we're all doing this together. If you've ever said the word no in your life, you're a boundaries expert. I just want you to know, just in case nobody has ever told you, if you have ever said the words N-O, one of the shortest words in the world, you are a boundaries expert. So what are we going to be doing today? We're going to be teaching together. Yes, yes. Go ahead and just say yes. And who here knows that you can do better with the word boundaries? You can do better with the practice of boundaries. You can do better with the saying of no. Just say, Coach B, that's me. That's me. Just put in the chat, that's me. It's me, oh, it's me. I was just talking with someone, they were like, with everybody I can, but you see my children. When they just ask me like this, I want to know, who is that soft spot for you? And sometimes it's not from a place of love. Sometimes it's from a place of fear. If my boss just asks me to do anything, it does not matter whether my wife is waiting for me at home and whether I had commitments anywhere else. If they just ask me like this, I don't even, I open my mouth, I'm trying to say no, but the words that I find coming out is yes. Is maybe. So put for me in the chat. Me is my best friends. Oh, when it comes to my best friends, you know why? Because I know they already know that I have boundaries. So they can't even demand it of me. But when they now even ask, or I'm thinking they need help, I'm like, I got you. And when I'm saying I got you, I've forgotten that I got 5 other things. But I'm getting better. Another thing that is kind of hard for me to draw boundaries with is my learning. Oh my gosh, I love books. I love books. That's one thing that I share with the founder of Read Nigeria. Would you guys give it up for the lovely, the delectable, the intelligent, the impactful Coach Tumininu? Can you give it up for her? I'm so proud of you, lady. The work that you do is so inspiring. The work that you do transforms lives. And the work that you do is a fundamental kind of work. It's not theoretical. It's not just up in the air. It's not 5 steps to no, she's going down deep. How you know someone is going down deep with you is by the kind of caliber of people they expose you to, the kind of ideas they expose you to. It doesn't have to come through them. She's there talking about a book every other month. What? You guys are just getting enlightened. You can take that stuff, apply it to your life, and you don't even need to call her name, and she's fine. That is amazing to me. Okay. Offense. This your clap. I'm feeling it inside. There's a place. I'm feeling it. Adeni, well done, Debbie. All right. So someone put in the chat her mom. The other people is like, it's everybody in their lives. It's not only one, it's not only two people, it's everybody. I will take you first to the principle of transcendence. You know, when I started doing, my background is in science, is in engineering. But when I started doing my PhD and I wanted to do it in leadership, I didn't realize that there was actual science to sociology, social sciences, and leadership. And they can measure these things. And one of the things they were able to measure is the principle and the practice of transcendence. How do we know when you have reached transcendence? And if you've never done it, just put on Google at some point beyond here, just put transcendence instrument. They will have different types of scales, different kind of measures, because you want to know, where am I? Where am I in respect to not only how I've come to own myself, but how I have transcended myself. So first of all, let's define transcendence. What is transcendence? There are many different scales of transcendence, but one of the major definitions comes from the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where it starts all the way from physiological. You just need to eat, sleep, shelter, good temperature, and you're good. That's what every animal, everything needs to just survive. Okay, physiological. So babies, you change their diaper, you feed them. They're okay. You don't need to sit down, have a conversation. They don't say, oh my gosh, I'm not reading right now. It's such a bother to me. No, they don't need that at that level. It's physiological, it's base, minimum what expectation. And if you're on this call, you are not there, because this call is for people whose minds have been enlightened and elevated. You wouldn't be here otherwise, because nobody's giving you a degree that you can present in any office. So you have come to realize that life does not consist in the abundance of things that we eat and drink. The second one is safety. Safety. This is why the men of old, they would live in caves. They wouldn't stay out in the open, because a lion could come by, a tiger, everything, and come and take advantage of them. Not even take advantage, flat out kill them. So having known that, they started protecting themselves. Next thing was love. They were like, I like that baby. I like this person. And they started going for what? Love. Two people would get together and they would build a home together. Then on top of that is called esteem. This is a pyramid. You can find it anywhere. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The next one is esteem. That you look at yourself and say, you safe. You do. What are those things you like about you? What are those things you find your value in? I love that I'm a Christian. I love that I'm a woman with a beauty and brains. I love the way I speak. You start to have esteem for yourself. I honor myself. I think I'm a person of worth and dignity. If you don't even have anything else, you're like, if I was worth, the blood of Jesus, if you're a Christian, or if you have value anywhere else. My mom loves me. If nobody else loves me in this world, at least, your mom would love you. That's the next level. Esteem, your own value for yourself. Then the next one is self-actualization. Many of you here, you have jobs, you work in industry, you're leading, you have a business. Self-actualization. I have this goal, I have this dream, and I go do it. And look at me today, I'm a doctor. Look at me, I'm a lawyer. I wanted to get married, so I toasted that babe. We're married today. We are flashing the ring. Self-actualization, you're still in that realm. Did you know that there was a realm beyond there? There is a realm. It's called transcendence. And when I see a summit called Transcend, I'm there. I'm not there for summit of survive. I'm not there for summit of actualize. Wow, that is wonderful. I'm already there. So I'm looking to what? Transcend. Why all of that is good. If they're saying safety and to keep yourself safe, that is good. It is still base level. This is why, if you notice, transcendence sits at the top of the pyramid. If you have transcendence, chances are you have all these ones at the bottom. Because somebody who's still looking for food to eat and all these things, they don't have issues. Do you understand? If you're transcending, you're already reaching out to others. And you might be asking me, what is this transcendence? And I found a great definition I want to share with you. Transcendence refers to the very highest and most inclusive or holistic levels of human consciousness. That's your mind don't rise, till you're not just looking for, that would be good to eat so that we won't die. Oh, let us cover this cave with this door so that they will not catch us. Oh, I like that woman, let us live together so that I won't be lonely. Your mind has transcended beyond all these things. Your mind has transcended beyond, let me pass JAM so I can go to university and let me get 2-1 so that banks can hire me. Your mind has what? Transcended. Notice I'm still using that word transcended because transcendence refers to an ascendance, an elevation, a rising. So it refers to the highest and most inclusive or holistic levels of human consciousness, behaving and relating as ends rather than means. We look at the big picture, we look at where we want to be, and because of that, we can change our plans. We're not stuck to any process, any plans. We're not limited by culture, stereotypes, paradigms. We can evolve and transcend as needed. To oneself, to significant others, to human beings in general, to other species, to nature, and to the cosmos. That is the level of human consciousness. People look at, people like Elon Musk. I say the truth, don't lie. How much percent do you think is a little cuckoo? Like, look at Elon, like 45%. Your head is not very correct like that. Because why? Did you ever sit down and the business idea that came to you is, let me look for a vehicle that can go to Mars? Maybe one of you in the chat, it has occurred to you. That is transcendence. He has gone beyond his own self to other human beings in general, to other species, to nature, and to the cosmos. Did you know that when the Wright brothers were going to do that plane, and they had the idea, their father was a minister, was a pastor, and the father went to start praying deliverance because you people, your head is not correct. You're talking about flying. The only things that fly are what? They're witches. No, I'm just joking. Angels fly too. What are you talking flying? The man who first theorized Wi-Fi, his friends took him to the psychiatric hospital. He said, one day, we'll be able to talk with each other without being in the same room with each other, and we'll be able to see our faces. Please, what will your grandmom say? We dare not say the juju is taking different formats. That is transcendence. So having realized that this is what you are gunning for, the one thing that should be clear to you is that you are leaving many things what? Behind. You are already crazy. If you can find a nicer word, put it in the chat. But I tell people that everything that people tell me is great feedback. If somebody says, brother, you are crazy, I receive it as a compliment. Because I know what they're trying to say is that you are quite not normal. So next time someone says you are not a very normal person, don't feel insulted. Don't feel insulted. Actually accept it as an acknowledgement of who you know that you are becoming. It's just that the person doesn't have the language to articulate it. The one thing that you have to determine today is, I'm not a normal person. I'm starting from this basis because when you are teaching boundaries to people on the lower level, to people who are still on the realm of safety, to people who are still on the realm of physiological needs, or people who are still on the realm of love, is not the same thing as speaking boundaries to somebody who's on the level or who's aspiring for the level of transcendence. The things you have to say no to now are not between good and bad. You have left that level. That was on the level of safety. Let me go home early so that I will not meet bad boys on the road. But other people are out by 2 a.m. Doing what? In the helicopter, surveying their development sites that they're building for where? Maybe they're even in Mars building it. You don't know. Transcendence. The no's and the yeses that people of that level say is very different. We're not all setting the same kind of boundaries. But let me tell you what you cannot afford to do is not to set boundaries at this level. You cannot afford for no to not be a fundamental word in your vocabulary. At least every day, you should say the word no like 1,000 times to yourself, to the atmosphere, to people. No becomes what you do. Why? Because something else has already taken your yes. I want you to put in the chat for me. What is that big idea? What is that big aspiration that has already consumed you? If it's to make generational wealth for your family, for your community, for your state, for your nation, for the world, it has consumed you. That means what you have said yes to gives automatic no's to everything else. I've given yes to a loving marriage, to effective parenting. Guess what has an automatic no? Every other thing that doesn't contribute to this vision or purpose. And I know that Coach T must have at some point talked to you about vision, purpose, goals. So what we're just here to learn now is how should we be saying this no? Because boundaries are they just go without saying. You know, Amazon, Jeff Bezos, I will never forget when I first read this thing about him. He stopped going to school. That is, you know, the way, if in Nigeria, as a teenager, you stop going to school, the chances are what that you'll be doing? What will you be doing? Put in the chat. If you hear that, this bar has not been showing up in class, what are some of the things that you think he will be doing? Where will you think he went to? Do you think he will be up to anything good? Yeah, Now, so Jeff was leaving school. Why? Because he already had ideas. He already had crazy ideas, and he was like, this school is not moving fast enough for me. I get where they go, and I hurry. I don't have chance. So he started going to one man who was like a professor in one area. When everybody leaves to go to school, he will go to this guy, and they'll be learning, there'll be different things. So I think the teachers got tired. They now called his mom. How far? Come and see what your son is doing. Mama don't match. Son, what are you up to? What is going on? And he said, look, let me tell you, there are things I want to do, there are places I want to go and stuff, and this place is not helping me. But what are you telling me? In his room that time, he would take apart his bed. Somebody put there carpenter. Look, let me tell you, carpenter has levels. At the end of the day, when you talk about Michelangelo, if he was using wood to sculpt, he was a carpenter. But today, every day, we're calling Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci. And yeah, if your son says he wants to be a painter, I'm sorry, how many of you will be like, oh my gosh, I'm so inspired, go do it, chase your dreams? How many of you would do it? But anyways, that's how this guy carried his bed. He will break it apart, he will fix it and all. But when his mom learned about this, his mom sat down. May some parenting styles visit us in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ as Nigerians, because we want to love you into suffocation. Promise that you are not going to do that with the next generation. They have their own lives to live. Their lives don't have anything to do with you. Anyway, she got to a point where she was like, okay, let's do half and half. You go to school half the time, you go to this mentor half the time. And he started learning many of these things that he started applying. And eventually he came up with Amazon, which we all know, revere, love, which is a generational. If he decides now he's going to bankrupt that company, he can't anymore. It has entered its legacy structure and season. He can't do it. He can try his best, but worst case, maybe it will be stuck at this valuation. But no. Okay. What am I saying? I'm saying all these things to say, when you have a vision, my friend DDK would say, when you have a vision, you don't need permission. You have already blessed yourself with the permission you need. Healthy boundaries. What are boundaries? Let me define boundaries for you now. Today is moving quite fast. Boundaries are essentially your first fence lines. You know how you live in an estate or a compound, you have your own fence around your house. And even if you are living in a terraced, style, you still have your walls. When you see somebody nice that comes and knocks on your door, what do? Someone who's bringing you gifts and bringing you all this, what do? You open it, you welcome them in. At the end of the day, when they're going, you're like, bye. And you do what again? You leave the door open for all and sundry. You shut the door. So boundaries are that point at which you allow or disallow things. Those are your boundaries. Those are your boundaries. You can look over your boundaries from time to time and be like, oh my gosh, those trees in that person's compound, they are lovely. But they are not in your own compound, so you cannot go and cut their own tree. Neither can that person come to your compound and be like, you don't have tree. Please, I must plant trees here. How can you be like this and not have trees? It's unacceptable, no. So your boundaries show you where your responsibility lies. You do not have responsibility for what is outside your boundary lines. Tell someone you do not have responsibility for what is outside your boundary lines. Because every time we talk about boundaries, it is like we're talking about other people. Sometimes we don't remember we're talking about our own selves too. If somebody is above 18 years of age, you do not have responsibilities beyond your own fence line. You don't have it. You can have a responsibility to, but you do not have a responsibility for. Responsibility to is, Coach Tumi asked me, could you speak today? And I say, yes, I have a responsibility to performing that. Do I have a responsibility for her? No. Is the summit my responsibility? No, it is a responsibility to her. You don't have a responsibility for. I will restate this over and over and over again because I know where toxic love carries us a lot of the time. It takes us to this place where we carry other people's crosses that do not belong to you. Look at Jesus, Savior of the whole world. He carried the whole cross. Then he now sat down again and told all of us to do what? To carry our crosses. Have you seen that scripture before? It's almost like, I don't understand Jesus. I thought you were my, I thought you were my burden bearer and my cross carrier. Why are you making me carry my own cross? Again, but there is a cross that everyone that has a will, that has a purpose, has to carry. It is not a cross of suffering. It is a cross of responsibility. It is a cross of self-actualization. It is a cross of transcendence. If you don't carry that cross, you cannot enjoy the glory. And each of us has to carry it. Carry your own, I carry my own, and so on and so forth. When you lose that, it's called individuation. When you know that I am me and this person is them, I love them more. I wish they could choose differently, but it's not what? It's not my responsibility. Che, why did you take that loan now? Oh, it's really pinching you. They're telling you, it's really pinching. Hey, I wish it were different. Oh, you are able to commiserate, but you do not take the responsibility upon yourself. It does not what? It does not belong to you. The way this my friend is doing in her marriage, she will not take my advice. She will not this. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and talk to her husband and I'll talk to her mother and this. It is not your what? It is not your responsibility. My manager in this office, I've told them, this is the best kind of strategy to use. I even brought business case, everything. They say, no, I'm going to go and, if it's not a violation, if it's not an ethical violation, it is not your what? It is not your responsibility. Tell your neighbor, mind your business. Put it in the chat so everybody can hear it. Even me too, I want to hear it. So you can tell me to mind your what? Mind your business. Mind your business is not an insult. Mind your business is one of the most motivational phrases that you will ever hear. Mind your business is mind the purpose for which God told you. Mind it to a point where you put structures around it, put systems around it, and it starts to impact the world. Mind your business. Mind your business. Mind your business equals set healthy boundaries. Mind your business equals say no to what you should be saying no to. Mind your business equals say yes to what you should be saying yes to. Mind your business. MYB. You see, I'm saying it with a smile because boundaries, the subtle art of saying boundaries means setting boundaries without anger, without resentment, without revenge, without bitterness. I'm so sorry. I'm not going to be able to attend that event. Oh, maybe next time. Just let me know and I'll consider it again. Oh, that's a no for me. I'd rather not go there. Give me, if anybody wants to give me an example, feel free, put it in the chat. And I will tell you a subtle way to say no. You don't, like, when you're walking on the road and people are advertising and this T-Salad, MTN, Vodafone, everybody's advertising. Do you say, how can you ask me to buy your thing? What is it? Huh? Is it every day I'll be buying everything? Do you say that? It's an advertisement. You can what? You can take it. You can leave it. Do that with every relationship in your life. You will know so much peace. You don't have to take what is not yours. It's not by force. Mind your business and it's not by force. Mind your business and it's not by force. I want to tell you now the 3 things that can keep you. And it's from my book, A Tale of Two Wives. And later I'll send her the link. I have 2 of them, by the way. But how to know if you are not in a healthy relationship extremes, the things that make us lose our boundaries. I want to share that with you. It's very important because if you don't know where you are coming from, you're not going to know either where to go or how to navigate through here. Because every relationship is not the same. If I'm your friend, happy are you? Because if you tell me no, I used to hear what? I don't, how can you say no now? How can we not buy this Ashwebi? But she's our friend. If you pay small, the money will reach. And this is it. No, me, I will not take no. Please now, okay, for my sake. If you have a friend like that, you have a baby, a second baby as a friend. And you have to decide, are you going to be friends with adults or are you going to be friends with babies? It's not her decision. She doesn't have to change for you. You have to change for you. Mind your what business. Don't say, you keep doing this thing. I don't like it. She's living her life. Can you live yours? Can you live yours? It's like looking at an armed robber and say, how can you steal? You are supposed to be better than this, but you left your door open. The responsibility to protect your property, it belongs to who? Who does it belong to? Armed robber? No, it belongs to you. All right. The first one is called enmeshment, relationship dynamics. The way, how you know that you are losing yourself, because that is what makes us, puts us in the zone of people pleasing and approval addiction and all these things. The first one is enmeshment. In enmeshed relationships, people are essentially entangled with each other. There's no separateness at all. You hear things like, you complete me. I would die without you. Or you say, we say, think, and feel the same things. This is my mother, eh? And people sometimes like this, I'll be in a board meeting, my mother will come and be like, what happened? I felt that pressure on my spirit. I've been praying for you. Okay, do this, like this, like that. And you're like, I know this is my mom. I'm not trying to get between me and you and your mom, by the way. I love my mom, but she's not me. And I'm no longer tied to her by an umbilical cord. Does her word carry weight in my life? Yes. But it still has to pass through the filter of my values and my purpose. I'm your mother. I carried you for 9 months. Okay, Jesus died for me. He has not yet come and rapture me. I was doing something bad yesterday. He didn't appear in front of me. Are you understanding? Extreme relationships that demand extreme loyalty. Me, I don't like disloyal people. How many of you have heard that before? Every time you hear people saying that to a certain level, begin to question, what does loyalty mean to you? Because some people, loyalty means that if me and Tumi are in the boardroom, I cannot ever say to me, this is your idea. I don't like it. I think this idea is better. How is that loyalty? How is that loyalty? Extreme. In this family, we don't take our business outside. No matter what's happening, we live and we die here. When you might need help, when there might be abuse going on, that's enmeshment. Enmeshment is that, to me, you don't understand. This is my brother. I know he has struggled all his life. It's just unfortunate. Sometimes he takes loans. Sometimes he takes drugs. But I'm the adult of the house. What will I do? What will I do? I cannot abandon my responsibilities. Who gave it to you? It's not your business. See, one of the men I admire most in the Bible is the prodigal son's father. If it's you, your son comes to meet you and say, give me half of my inheritance. Go and liquidate. And will you give? No, please, to me answer. Will you give? So some of us even think something is wrong with that man. No? But he knows it's inevitable. If he falls down and dies now, the guy will still get the money. So what did you? He gave him the money. Then some of you, the son will collect the money and go. What will you do? People, Femi has left the house, so what do we do? Uncle Tunji, go and speak to him. Auntie Ronke, see what you can do. Where is he? Look, son, I'm just calling you. The thing that an elder can see sitting down, you cannot see standing up. I know what I'm telling you. Come back. Is it not what we will do? How would that boy learn his lesson if you are still putting your mouth all the way up to choosing spouse? How will he learn? And when he say how will he learn, it doesn't mean you are even letting the person see the bad things. It just means that each of us have to walk our own path. Each of us deserve to make successes out of our lives and to make mistakes. You deserve to make a mistake. Nobody should come and truncate your mistake process. There's a learning in there that is tailored to you. And when people are telling, I know why. I know why I'm not giving you this role. Because if you enter this role, how is it your, how? It's not your call. That's enmeshment. We have this a lot in our society. All of you gang up to tell your sister not to marry that man. If this sister that you trained, who has these family values, still decided she must marry this man, this person is employed, 35 years old, working. You don't like the guy, yeah? Should you say your opinion? Yes, you owe it to them to share. Hey, this is something I've noticed, this is this, but you know what? It is your choice. I respect you too much to stand in the way of your will. God does it every day. He watches us make wrong choices. He has even told us. He can even tell you in the dream face to face this, that. But when you are doing it, he's not going to come and hit it from your hand. Hey, don't touch this cocaine. No. That's what we do with a lot of people that we love. So that is enmeshment. We are one person. Enmeshment says we are one person. We are not. This is how we do in our house. No. And prodigal son's father taught that. The day prodigal son, the Bible says all his money finished. He started seeing what? Pepper. What did he do? He came back. By his own words. The father was not saying, oh my gosh, I'm so worried I can't eat. We can't sleep in this house. We are finished. Because that's what some of us do. Somebody chooses wrongly in our families, in our places of work, including your spouse. Your spouse might be cheating on you, having children outside, having side chicks or side G's outside, and you think it's your fault? A grown human being, and you want to carry that responsibility on your head. You want to die quick? You've embodied a shame that does not belong to you. Is it not God that made Lucifer? Please. You see God every day thinking, oh my God, I missed it in life. How could this have happened? This man had his own choice. You cannot assume the responsibility of a grown human being. Your son decides to drop out of school. And now he's in rehab, and every day you're lying to your friends because of a shame that you have carried upon you. It is not your fault. It doesn't matter what you've been. Even if you were raped, it does not matter. It's not your own responsibility to carry. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't suffer in silence for something that wasn't your choice. The prodigal son's father was not going to suffer in silence. Anyway, the son came back. This is the subtle art of saying no. And I'm going to end with this. When the prodigal sons, if you want to read the others, please go right back and get the book. The second one is detachment. Me and my husband were in this house, but we don't talk. But if there's a should be, we and co, when we go there, we start talking after we drop out from the car, but we don't have a relationship. He knows me, I know me, guy. I just keep myself on my side. It's not, you don't have to be in such a relationship. It's a detached relationship. You're not one, you're not together. Is it necessary to be there? I don't know. You're going to a place of work every day. You hate this place. It's toxic. You're not bringing your best self. You're not, and you're still doing it. That is an unhealthy relationship. And you have to start thinking, what do I want to do with this? And the third one is a healthy relationship. A healthy relationship says, you are you, I am me, and we are us. We have an us. When me and Tumi get together, we talk about books, we talk about personal development, we have our space. We have where we merge and relate and interact. But she's also her and I'm also me. If we were enmeshed, I would be like, now, wow, Tumi, you are doing Transcend Summit. You can't even ask me what I think about the title. I noticed you put my picture in the second. Why didn't you put it in the middle? That's enmeshed. You didn't even ask me. You now ask this guy to speak. You don't know there was a time he was not greeting me. Enmeshed relationships. And the final one, detached. To me, it's doing something. Did you see her? Did you see her? Wow, that's her business. To me, when I put it in the group, hello, sisters, I want you to attend the Transcend Summit. It's my baby. I'm doing this. And I'll be like, that's her business. She thinks she's all that. Let her be doing. Do your thing, I do my thing. No harm, no foul. That's detached. You don't got to be there. Anyway, what did prodigal son's father do? When the son came back, did you see him say, I told you, you don't used to hear what? Hey. He has learned his lesson. If that sister that says she will not agree, she must marry that guy, she goes, guy is emotionally and physically abusive. Sister comes back home with black eye. What will a typical family do? Somebody put it in the chat. Typical family, what would they do? What would they do? Did we not tell you? This is what happens when people don't hear what? Hey. Oh. Follow, every time you want to address, and I told you so situation, follow the prodigal son's father's example. Hey, son, you're back. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad you're back. Guess what? He didn't go to meet him when he was out. He didn't need to, because his identity is not tied to his son. His sense of validation, value, his worth in life is not tied to my son is an engineer, my son is a lawyer, my son is now a pastor. It's not tied to that. He's able to be without the need of his son. But guess what? He also loves the son. So when the son comes back, he's able to also receive him. Are you able to do that in your relationships, or are you punitive? Somebody does something you didn't like, so you punish them. So let me tell you what will happen. For example, somebody I love very much owes a lot of money and this thing. I may not pay for you if it's not in the scope of my distance, but guess what I'll do? I'll be like, this one that you guys don't have where to stay, don't worry, you can come and stay in my house for maybe a week or so while you find your feet. As much as lies within me is what I would do. You cannot get to the point where you begin to cut off your own purpose, your vision, your safety, all those things you saw in the Maslow's hierarchy. You can't get to that point where you say yes to the point where you say no to your own self, your physiological needs, your self-actualization needs, because you want to stay close to this place. Okay. Subtle art of saying no. I want to give you an example conversation. Is in here. I think I'll be ending in the next 3 minutes. I want to give you an example conversation, and please make sure to come back and listen to this conversation so that you can read it. I mean, you can listen to it and template it with your own. Now, if you're in a difficult relationship, I'm going to use both relatively okay and difficult relationship, okay? If you're in a difficult relationship, let me tell you just how you should set it. The first thing you start with is what? An affirmation. You want to confront someone, especially something that's been going on for so long, because I saw somebody in the chat, they say, I'll go and tell my mother to mind your business. My brother, my sister, you're on your own. Because I might be, if I'm the mom, I might do your strong thing. Don't do it. Have you yet? Say I hear in the chat. Say I hear. The first one is affirmation. I love you and I am for you. Mommy, I honor you. The woman that carried me for 9 months, you saw me through from when I was younger. Husband of my youth. I remember how you used to toast me up and down the streets. You love me, you care for this family. My boss, I know that you're a very assertive boss because you want to make sure that we meet our objectives for this organization. You start with an affirmation. My friend, I know you want me to buy this Asoebi and to pay this trip on debt to the Maldives because you actually care about my well-being and you want me to indulge in some self-care. Whatever that situation is, start with an affirmation. Start with an affirmation. The second one is feeling. Hey, this is what I felt about this issue, this occurrence, this situation. When you told me to go and borrow the money just for Asoebi's sake, and you started yabbing me that I don't have mind, you know, I felt, not you made me. You made me is a symptom of an enmeshed relationship. Nobody can make you do anything. Can somebody make you bring out your hand to slap a soldier on the road that's carrying AK-47? You made me slap the soldier, and therefore they now shot me and now died. Will you say that? Nobody can make you do. If somebody can make you do anything, you've been hard. That means you don't have a self. You don't have your own mind. Nobody can make you. These children, they're the ones always looking, but that's why I shout. Why would I shout? Nah, you chose to shout. Why won't I cheat? Why you won't sleep with me? Why are you there? You chose to do that. Own it. Own it. So you start with a feeling. This is how nobody can argue with your feeling. And that's why next time somebody comes to tell you that this is how I feel, don't say, how can you feel like that? Because of this small thing, you started feeling. Is it your feeling? Again, remember where your responsibility stops. Stay where your responsibility stops. Don't go beyond it. If somebody is telling you this is how I feel, it's none of your business. Mind your business. Don't tell people what they should and shouldn't feel. The third one is boundaries. Hey, so next time, could you not ask me to do these things because I won't? Or this money you are telling me, mommy, to pay this other cousin. You know, right now I'm training 5 cousins, but you see this other cousin you bought? This time around, I won't be doing it. You now set your boundaries there. This is what I like. This is what I dislike based on my values, my principles, as far as you want to go. The first one, again, affirmation. Second one is, this is how I feel. Third one is boundaries. Boundaries are your preferences. They are your principles. You list them. I don't lend somebody money that I cannot forget. Therefore, I will not be lending you 100 million naira. If you say quick 2K, I can give you 10K. Do you understand? But I'm not lending you Asoebi money. That's your boundary. Or your boundary might be that whatever it is, again, remember, it's a preference. For the Wright brothers, it was that we will keep working on this airplane. It doesn't matter what people say. For Elon Musk, it was that I know that $1 billion rocket we just sent into space, it just exploded with all the years of you people's work. But when he turned back and he spoke to his employees, he said, but know one thing, I will never, ever give up. That's a boundary. It's like I have drawn the line in the sand. You see this me, I will keep moving down this path. You see this man, daddy and mommy. Again, you have affirmed them. I know you're saying all these things because you love me, you care for me. You probably see more than I see, but this is my choice. This is how I feel. So this is my choice. And then choice. The next one is choice. It is up to you. You not give them a choice. This thing I'm telling you, friend, it's up to you to honor or violate the boundaries I set. Nobody needs to accept what you say. Don't say, after telling somebody something calmly, she didn't even listen. She still went ahead doing. This is why the next point is so important. There's a consequence. You always give them a choice. You tell them they have a choice. But after the choice comes a consequence. This is the consequence that this person can expect if they do this. Hey, son, child, my boundaries are that you come back home by 6 p.m. Now, you have a choice to come back home before 6 p.m. or come back home by midnight. But I show you one thing. This is a consequence. If you come back by midnight, you'll be sleeping in front of the gate. I will block your number from 6 p.m. when you don't show up, so you can't reach anybody in this house. The reason some of you yell so much is because you don't have consequences. Your only consequences is shout. And guess what? The children of shouting parents, they have become so immune to shout. Shout does not even worry them. My cousins, when they would come when I was younger to the house, they would be like, I can't believe, why are you people crying? My mother would just look at us like this and be like, I'm disappointed in your behavior. They'll be like, I don't understand. What just happened here? Because their own mother's like, what are you doing? Something's wrong with you. They are still doing what they are doing. They are doing. But my mom didn't used to shout. One look behavior. So if shouting is your, maybe you are a wife, you nag. Your voice has become like music now to your husband's ear. He had to do it to cope. So if that's the only consequence, it doesn't work. That's why when you want to set consequences, you must go for what impacts that person. Don't go for what you think is best. This is why things like removing devices from children work, things like going to sit in the quiet corner work. Go for what matters to that person. It is not a punitive measure. It's a way to protect you as well. Somebody's yelling at you, they're being violent. It's a natural consequence for you to remove yourself from that environment. It's a natural consequence. And the final one, remember, this is a conversation. The final one is to thank the person. Express gratitude. Thank you for spending the time here, letting me unburden and share my heart with you. And you stand up from there with a sense of strength. And I can't end this without talking about necessary endings. Necessary endings, when somebody cannot hear, you can see that this person isn't willing to work with you because there are different kinds of people. There are safe people, there are unsafe people, and there are evil people. Safe people, they just hear you. You just tell them something, they hear you. I don't like this normally. Or sorry, I didn't realize that. They've stopped. Words are enough boundaries. Foolish people, they need a consequence. I told you I'll be there by 2, but I came by 4 now. You just didn't even open the gate. That's a foolish person. If they don't keep meeting locked gates, they will keep doing it. They need a consequence to change. And then the final one, evil people. Those are the ones they say you need lawyers, guns, and police for. You can't play with them. They are seeking your bad. It's not that they made a mistake. No, they are seeking evil. So for certain kinds of things, people and things, it's something called necessary endings. And maybe at the next summit, we'll discuss how do you end? Because some have to go. Remember, you are the transcendent person. Your calling is not to yourself only, or to your community, or to your family. Those of you who are here, who are hearing these life-changing words, who will be attending this summit, you are world changers. Our world needs you. Our world needs you. Our world needs your ideas. Our world needs you well, safe, healthy, wealthy, so that we can get the best of that creativity that God put in you, of those solutions that God put in you. You cannot live a life where your no muscle is not strong. So promise me you're going to start today to say the no's, but to say them in this way that I've told you. If you say the no's in a less than polite, gracious, authentic way, I'll tell you something. You tell that person no, walk away, and that person will consume your mind the whole weekend with either anger, sadness. You don't need that. So thank you so much to me for adding that. The subtle art is a subtle art. If I'm telling you no with this voice, can you fight with me? You cannot. It's a calmness. If you've never read this thing, As a Man Thinketh, read Serenity. Even if you just go put it on YouTube, you'll see, just put Serenity, As a Man Thinketh. Read that chapter every day for like 7 days. Serenity, a person that cannot be shaken. If I hear a loud noise behind me right now, I don't jump. I can look, I can stand up, but I have trained myself not to react. Viktor Frankl said that the space you can choose is the space between action and reaction. So things will happen to you, people will say all sorts of things, but you can choose how you respond. And that's why we're learning the subtle art. You don't have to, but you're a better person if you do. To me, please come on before I keep talking. We've been talking for quite a bit.
Wow. Woo! Oh my gosh. Susan. Bobby, help
I'm
me.
speechless.
said,
I do not know what to say. I do not know what. I don't even want you to end, man. It's been such an impactful. Like I can see the comments. Everyone is like, "This has been amazing." I had like a pile of questions to ask,
Talk to me.
but it's not necessary anymore because you've answered everything. It's not necessary. Like it was so practical, so practical on how to say. Because personally, I don't know how to say no. So now I see where I've been missing it, and I see how to say no in these 5 steps you gave. So impactful. Thank you so much. Thank you
are
so
most
much.
welcome, Susan.
But while we are screaming this thank you, let's do some form of recaps. For me, I was seeing table shaking. In fact, at some point, I was like, the table is shaking. I was trying to guide the table. Then I'm like, she has broken the table. Oh, yeah, let's reconstruct. What? She's thrown away the table. There's even no table anymore. I mean, this was just super amazing. One of the things that really stood out for me, for people that are jumping in and out, is you cannot have a boundary if you don't have a vision. The art of boundary starts from having a vision. So what's your vision? What's your money vision? What's your relationship vision? What's your personal vision for yourself? Because when you know all of those things, then it's easier for you to say no. What are you even saying no to? So I had this very interesting experience, I think some last month or 2 months ago, that taught me again the power of boundary. I do money a lot. I talk about money. So for me, if you're asking me for money, if you don't know it, just know it now. The answer is no. What's the question? Is the default setting.
Before anything.
I've programmed myself. If you ask me once you ask me for money, the first thing is I don't have. Then it's now your responsibility to convince me if I have. And I was in a meeting. I was extremely distracted. It was a very important meeting. And I got a chat from somebody that was very close to me. And the person was like, oh, can I have urgent 200K? I just typed, no, I do not have. And I sent it. Because it was default, it was reflex. Like something happens and your reflex is yeah. So I was in a meeting. I wasn't thinking. I don't have to think. I'd programmed myself. I sent it. I was like, isn't that rude? The way you start second guessing yourself. Shouldn't you have even negotiated and all of that? I continued with the meeting. Remember, I was very busy. 30 minutes later, a friend calls me and was like, hello. I said, what? He said, I think our friend's phone has been hacked. I said, what happened? He said, the way they're asking for the money, somebody hacked our phone. I said, you know my policy. The answer is no. What is the question? People fell for that scam because she's somebody of a number they cleaned out. Because it was a distress call, well crafted. Please help. And she has integrity. So in my head, the answer is no. What's the question? So I expected you will get back to me. I'm sharing this story for boundaries. We are often wired to go like, no is wrong. Someone said something about complete. One of the things I have learned, or I'm learning because sometimes you still sleep, is no is a complete sentence. You don't need to explain yourself.
Explain long things.
Are you coming?
Yeah.
No. It's a complete sentence. There's no need for you see, actually, the answer is no. You need to own yourself. Yes. You people cannot miss day 3, as in Bukumi is here, is one of the speakers on day 3. We'll be talking about coaching and mentoring. When she said this, I wrote it, underlined it. That Jeff Bezos, one of the richest men in the world, he dropped out of school and he went to go and find a mentor who is mentoring you. So it's not enough to have all this your big bogus dream. Who is mentoring you? What's your plan? People don't become accidentally successful. If you can't say an accidentally successful man. It follows process and it follows listening. Then this one, I think we'll still shake this table small. Oh, hey, as you were talking, at some point I was repenting. I say, oh God, I repent. The days of ignorance you've overlooked. Now you commended men to wisdom. Yeah, like it is okay to let loved ones make mistake. How many people are on that table?
Oh, yes.
That you see that your family member is entering fire. Bralade say, I wish you God's blessing. I have told you, oh, you know, long one year for my non-Yoruba speaking people. Now fire you they enter go so. But and I'm like, this table. Then this thing about responsibilities. Know your responsibility.
Yes.
In fact, I think because after this, I'm going to self-appraisal again. You know, when she was saying that thing about mind your business, a lot of us are busybody. That's why we don't have time. You are always in other people's business and you are not in your own business. What is your business? Susan is a complete adult. What is your headache if she decides to go and sit in silver bed? Book you will not read. Webinar you will not go. Your headache is Susan. That is not your headache. And these are the reasons, and that was why we are starting with this healthy boundary. You are not improving yourself at work. You are not improving yourself spiritually. You are not. In fact, let me shake the table. I know we have Catherine. I hail you. In fact, let's talk to ourselves, Africans. We are all here. We are in other people's business. The COVID will say circle of control and circle of concern.
Yes, influence.
Your wall is all about what the leaders are doing. I agree we need better leaders. You, what are you doing? You are not flying kites. You are not taking rocket to space. Your brain is not designing anything.
Where is
the only thing your brain can come up for is what is not working. How do we want to actually get better? If we look at the energy we see, and that is why I'm here, like on this, are we minding our business? You know, I try to converse with some people and they're like, it is our responsibility to tell the leaders what they are not doing. You, what are you doing? What are you doing? What exam have you written? How are we improving ourselves? Do you want to talk? Okay, no problem. But is it your business? At the end of the day, all the talk you have been talking, what impact has it created? And this one shook me. I wrote it, I underlined it. I like to read. I'll go and research it. No, I'm serious. And this is very important to me. I've been getting lots of obituary. I buried my father. I buried my mother. I'm warning everybody, I'm not ready to bury my mother. All of you should mind yourself. I'm not in your WhatsApp group. I've exited. It will not exit. But however, this is very important. Wright's father was a preacher. I caught that one. So a preacher is supposed to be somebody that is close to God, somebody that is foreknowing, foreseeing, yet he could not see his children's vision. I wrote a book recently, Where is the Money?
Where's the money?
The greatest crime is committed in love, not in hate. It is the people that love you that hold you bound. And when she was saying, I wanted her to say this, but yeah, when she was saying that thing about let people make their mistakes, we are so afraid of people, like we don't want them to grow. So we want them to stay in the same circle.
Stay safe.
Stay safe.
Yes.
And there is no growth
And small.
in safety. We will all stay small. If all of us, if I'm thinking the way my mother was thinking, or the way my father was thinking, and my father is an extremely brilliant man, I can't do better than him. The only way we can transcend and go higher is when we are able to break the current mold. And we can just love people to do it. Will they make mistake? It is their mistake. I tell my daughter that, see, you will make your mistakes. So, in fact, it will pain me if you make my mistake. That one will pain me. Don't make my mistake. You would make your mistake. But one prayer I start praying for you early is that the mistake that is irreversible, you will not make it.
Yes.
You will have the sense not to make irreversible mistake. The mistake that will cut you short, you will not make it.
Yeah.
But that you will not make mistakes.
Mistake, eh?
It's not life. You would make mistake. And you know, I can almost re-preach everything, but honestly, it's been amazing. Bralade, I want to say a very, very big thank you. I said I was sharing this story with Bralade just before the convention. I have this book, and Kika, please drop the link,
yeah,
in the chat. I'm having a summit, what do they call it now? Bonanza, 40% off. When I launched the book, the ebook was going for 3,500. For summit's sake, it's my birthday, so this is my birthday gift to you. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Yeah, it's going for 2,000 naira as it hot.
You guys don't know what this is right here. It
only
can
for
be
the
less than the cost of the book. Actually, it can actually be less than.
Yes.
Say big thank yous in the chat. This is so generous.
Only for the summit period. Now, we talk about money a lot on Read. We talk about raising ethical millionaires. I've looked at people's spending trend. The main problem, and go and check it, please check your spending trend for the e-copy or not the hard copy. So know that it's the e-copy you are buying. Go and check your spending trend for the past 3 to 6 months, if possible, or keep your spending trend, since if you can't trend backward, keep your spending trend for the next 3 to 6 months. It will shock you. The first time I did it, I repented from dust to ashes. I mean, I realized I did not feel like I was a bad mother. No, I'm not joking. I realized that I was a bad mother. When I looked at the amount of money, you know, when you don't plan something, it just jumps out. When you looked at the amount of money, the urgent 2K, the urgent 3K, African mothers in the house, you are hearing me, ba? Then my daughter comes and says, Mommy, I want ice cream. There's no money, it's luxury. Mommy, I want is luxury. Mommy, I want is luxury. Yet, people that are not, so to say, close to me were the people that were having access to my money. And I started having what is called budget. Budget is boundary. So I have love budget.
Automatic, sure. Yes.
It's automatic. And the following month, when I practiced it, and I'm glad that I had time to correct it, and that's why I'm sharing the story. And I took my daughter out. Yeah, let's go shopping. I mean, I'm working. This is your allowance. Understand that it's okay to feel loved. And we go in and I'm like, oh yeah, I know you like chocolate. Buy chocolate. She said, Mommy, do we have money? It is luxury. This is chocolate. Oh. I said, no, pick. She said, Mommy, it is okay. And I realized that I've sold scarcity to this girl unconsciously because I did not have boundaries. And people that I don't even know what they are doing with the money are the people that I'm giving the money to in the name of love. Have a charity budget. It's okay. And every month, I have my charity budget, and I'm very okay with it. I know what I'm doing with it. Now, in my book, one of the stories I shared, true life story, was of someone that could not say no to his mother. Wow. And he ended up in jail. Because he ended up pilfering money. It is mommy now. She suffered for me. Hey, let me quickly take this money from the office coffers. After all, I will return it. You know those money that you borrow without borrowing. And he ended up, he lost the job. He was, a jailbird is a jailbird. In this world of data, if you are going to any country, the first thing they will ask you is, have you been convicted of any crime?
Yep. You
become an ex-convict because you do not have boundaries. Now, I have spoken enough so that I'm not turning this another speaking session. Please, do we have any questions in the house as we round up? We've done 1.5 hours.
I think I have a question. Well, it would just be like a follow-up. You're talking about, I think what really struck me for the whole conversation was on enmeshment. And, without even knowing, I know that that was something I was struggling with, currently am. And I'm like, okay, I have to work on it. But what if in a case where you have a family member who you've set boundaries and they constantly disregard those boundaries to the extent that it's almost so they don't have any regard for the boundary at all.
Yeah.
And you've tried so many times, to, have the conversation, make them see that, okay, this is my life. This is how I feel this is how I know I should live my life. But always, and then they use that emotional blackmail, how do you deal with that? How do you, because now it's family, and you're wondering, do I cut off?
Yeah.
What do I do exactly?
So for me, and again, this goes back to our culture. Culture is a beautiful thing, and there's something called the law of polarity. Inside a good place is where you also see a bad thing, which is so interesting. This toxicity many times is born out from extra love. They think it's extra love, but a lot of it, control, a lot of times is born from that place of love. When you have seen this, to me, when I see people who have toxicity, I see them just like people who have like a broken bone or who have a condition. I just feel like they're unable, right? So what do you do with people like that? You put the structure that allows you guys to have a relationship without allowing it impact you. So if you wanted to go to the bank on Sunday, can you go?
Yep.
Why not?
Because they're not open for Sunday, and there's nothing I can do about that.
That's it. But can you go other days? Like, what day can you go?
Sure. I can go Monday to Friday.
Monday to Friday.
Okay,
Saturday and Sunday can go. Okay, what if you wake up really early on Monday and just say like 5 a.m. I'd like to go?
I'll be at the gate. That I can, sure.
You can't still enter. So what do your gates look like? What do your hours look like? What do the conversations look like? And it is about moving that person from circle. Dr. Cindy Trim talks about 12 circles of relationships. And the first one is like the Holy of Holies. That's the one you see each other naked and ashamed, and in vulnerability, right? And you don't, you can still have conflict, but this person is here for me. They have my values, and we share dignity and nobility for each other. If someone has shown demonstrably time after time that they cannot handle that level of responsibility or that level of expectation, you need to move them out of the circles. So Paul Martinelli, I'm sure Tomi knows him, is a coach in the US here. He had a really abusive mom who used to the level of those people who used to put pepper on people's bodies, that level. And he said now they have a relationship, but the relationship is called water is wet, the sky is blue, murder is bad. Those are the kind of conversations they have. Hey, what's happening in Nigeria? I know, this is the price of fuel now. Hey, what about this your school? You were telling me about this. It's okay, it's okay. But did you hear about the football team? My God, they did so good in South Africa. The conversation has changed. And then you see that, it's been 15 minutes. Oh, I'm busy. I have other things doing, but I'll call you again. It's so nice of you to call. Wow. These days, Susan, somebody can't see you again. I don't even know what's happening in your life. And that's how life is. So, but I love you. My darling sis or my darling auntie, I don't know the person. Before you now say Susan's. But you live it once somebody has shown that they cannot handle, because there's some people, this conversation, you should still have it with them. Because sometimes we set boundaries, but we set the harshest consequences straight off the bat. And this is a sign of enmeshment as well. You go from one day gisting with one friend, they now said something inside that conversation. Even they didn't know what they said. Now you are not talking to them ever again. It's been 10 years. They still don't know. And you say, how can they say they did not know? When they mentioned the name of that my ex-boyfriend, meanwhile, my sister-in-law was there, she will know that you have cooked up a whole thing in your mind they never heard. So you owe it to them to have that initial conversation. But after that initial conversation, after they violated, so think about it. What is your consequence? This thing you are doing, I know you are doing it out of a good place. Remember the affirmation, the validation. But this is how it makes me feel. It makes me feel as if I'm still a child. And you know I love you, but I'm no longer a child. I'm now Susan. And I know maybe when you were younger too, you probably made some mistakes. So I know that all my decisions you may not like. But would you just trust me? Trust that all the advice you've given me through all the years, they will carry me. That's your nicest time. You are not gonna be nice like that next time. But this your non-niceness is still with a smile. You see the way Susan is smiling now, she tells you no like that. What will you say? You will just take dressing and behave yourself. So Susan, yeah. And this is where the mind your business comes in. Because the person says, I just said because you asked me, didn't you ask me what I think about your school? That's why I told you your whole life. Right? So they'll start to take dressing. And be ready for some of the snide talk. Now, wow, Susan, we hear that nowadays, because you are now following Coach Tumi. Hey. In the name of personal development. So be ready for things like that. And you just
They
smile
know they
and
talk about Susan.
Yeah, sure.
Now, wow. Any other questions?
All right. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
someone in the chat room says she has a question. Do you want to unmute or do you want to type it? I was asking. Please, you can just unmute.
I'm here.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Ma. A very insightful session. So my question is this. You made
Please,
mention
can you
that...
introduce yourself?
Okay, my name is Chidima.
Hello.
Okay, so my question is this. You said a lot of people make mistakes. But how about scenarios where some people, the mistake that they're about to make, you know the resultant effect, and the mistake is also going to affect you in somewhat way, and you're trying to make sure that doesn't affect you, because you said like the prodigal son, the child came back, but actually the man's fortune had depleted by half, in normal sense. And being a wise person, would it be wise for you to allow somebody to make such a mistake and then deplete it by half and then still come back? And then maybe eventually, because we didn't know the end of the story, because even the first son was angry and start fighting with the first son for the property. So how would you, address such if you are trying to do it, especially people that are close to you?
I think, so younger or older? And when I say younger, I mean like, are they children under 18 or above 18? I just want to have that context.
Both. So children, and then even, yes, maybe adults, maybe like your siblings, that they are following the wrong path and all.
Yeah. Look, let me tell you, sometimes I tell people, like, when I see different characters, I used to feel for God. I'll be like, now, wow, God, you born, no. So this one now too, you created like this. And you true love this, you love this person that we're seeing like this. But God just a smile, they go. One statement, one quote I love so much is attachment is the root of all suffering. Attachment, that thing about your identity. How can I be here? You see, how can I be here and this person will suffer or go through this thing? We then carry it as a responsibility, but it was never yours. Your responsibility is to do what? The Bible says, speak the truth in love. Speak the truth in love. Stop the person? No. Stand in the way? No. Kidnap? Sharp? Speak the truth in love. You know the truth. Let me tell you, sometimes people who are even doing the wrong thing, they know koro. But guess what? The same way a lot of times you take the responsibility for helping them do the right thing is the same way you take responsibility for helping them fix the consequences. And none of these belong to you. None of these belong to you. So while it is painful, this is why the Bible says, train up a child in the way it should go. When he is old, they didn't say in the middle, when he's still growing, or when he's halfway. What did they say? When he's old, he will not depart from it. Now, when he's old means that there would have been a lot of different adjustments here and there, not learning, not knowing, not this thing. What I always tell people, I see this person's about to do the wrong thing. I look at you and say, look, I don't believe this thing, you should do this thing. Look, this is how this thing will affect, this is how this thing will do. I'm either thinking, what is the consequence? We're in a business, this person is about to go and do some corrupt thing. It's time for us to split the business. It's time for me to take a walk. So when you're talking about protecting yourself, in that regard, you can do. Or you see, You've seen maybe somebody close to you in your life. Okay, let me pick this one. This is a very strange one. But you see somebody cheating and you know both spouses, they are both your friends. Nobody should expect you to not say anything. I don't understand what's happening. I should be complete. So a lot of times, and this is my personal, right? If you choose not to say, that's fine. But I'm seeing both of you. I know both of you were close. And I see you are with side G or side chick. You'd be like, oh, don't say anything. It's not your business. Wow. I'm sorry. What is my business then? So you're in the public domain. I'm not snooping in your phone. So this is a choice, right? And again, it depends, circumstance to circumstance. So what are those things you will do? Or you see somebody's child somewhere and you say, I don't want to say anything. You see somebody, do you understand? So what came to you? Like prodigal son's father, the reason I will not judge him is that is what came to him. Do I support Jeff Bezos' mother allowing him to skip school? Do I support Bill Gates' parents allowing him to drop out of school? Again, remember, we use allow very loosely. Do I support it? Probably not. If I were a friend of the family, they ask me, I'll be like, no, let him finish his degree first. I will still say it tomorrow. And this is why boundaries are so important, because it's you that knows where you are going. It's only you that knows. Okay, maybe now Tumi knows that I'm raising $20 million to start this company. Then somebody be saying, urgent 200K to buy Ashwebi. I don't know why I'm calling Ashwebi this evening. I'm sorry if you are here and you are selling Ashwebi. They don't know that Tumi is building something that is a generational thing that will help them and their generations. We're not going to the same place. She should better refuse me. But if her money does not have purpose, guess what? Likely she'll give me. Likely she'll give me. So I will say, speak the truth in love. Always come from that place of validation. Hey, I know that you want to self-actualize. I know that you want to this. I know that you prefer this thing. That's why you want to do it. But this is why I think this is wrong based on our shared values. I think if you do this, this person has shown that they're not a trustworthy person because of this, that, and stuff. But remember that choice part. Remember that choice part. And sometimes it can get as bad as saying, I will not be attending the wedding because this person you are marrying is married to somebody else. And I don't believe in polygamy. You're my sister, we were raised this way. This is not our principles, our values, or your brother wants to marry a second wife. I'm just not doing. That is your choice. It does not belong to another person. But people should be able to hear from you. Don't carry attitude. Then when you do that, guess what? You have removed attachment. Don't be attached. Even after I told her that, she still went ahead. That wasn't your decision. Your own part was speak the truth in love. You've done your part. Whatever happens after that, you be fine with it. Let them be fine with it. But let me tell you, the slowest way to die is to carry things and people in your heart. Release them. Again, Paul will say, I release you to your highest good. I release you. You insulted me, you did that. Okay, no problem. I release you to what? Your highest good. And you just wash your hand off of them. You think Jesus did not love Judas? You really think he did not love Judas? Why should Jesus raise somebody who's a betrayer? Would he not pray? Why didn't he see it? To me, have you wondered about this? Jesus raised somebody that went lost. Then you as a mother, one of your children, they got pregnant, you have flat out lost your mind. You are no longer a mother. Hey, I failed in life. Is it not Sarah Jakes Robert that's there preaching? Do you know if that was her path? I'm not even saying it was the right thing. But who can see tomorrow? So don't let people's mistakes, especially other people's mistakes, define you. And embrace your own no. It does not affect their own yes or no, but embrace it. Okay?
Wow, amazing, amazing. I'm sure people are getting liberated here. This is becoming deliverance session. I'm about to fall down. The last question for the sake of our time. He said, please, ma'am, in what ways can we ensure our boundaries remain flexible yet firm in various social dynamics?
Yeah. So you're absolutely right. Again, if somebody reach out to me and say, I have a business idea to discuss with you, somebody who's already massive, right? And they're like, hey, we're a group of us are coming together. We're putting this amount of money together. These are the, I've built this kind of business before 5 times. This is this trajectory. We've done it before and all. It would be unwise of her not to weigh that opportunity if what she's looking to do is invest. Do you understand? So the fact that somebody is asking for urgent, I don't even know when 200K became urgent, but it used to be urgent 2K. Susan, is it not? Now 200K is now okay.
Urgent.
Levels have changed in life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So even if this person now is asking for 2 million, do you understand? So boundaries are that which you weigh by your vision. If coach just reiterated that again. What is your vision?
Sorry, Bralade, just to jump in, the 200K was supposed to be for medical bill. Somebody was on life and death, and that's why lots of people fell for it.
Another person's emergency or another person's situation does not constitute an emergency for you. Write that down. I can't believe this, my brother, that I told this thing. Now they've put him in cell, and they say if we don't bring 1 million, they will just let brother sleep small. People used to come out from jail. Maybe truly somebody came to me, prodigal son's father, that this guy is eating with pigs now. Come and carry your son. No, did he go? Did he go? But the Bible said something key. So when he came to himself, there's a point of realization that only your life experiences can teach you. Go and look at all the people with awesome parents who were given to control. They were the ones that, in quotes, spoiled. Let me use our Nigerian this thing. Because no matter how good you are, once you have invaded somebody's will, they don't want anything to do with you. The reason we serve God is because he does not try our will. He comes and he says, come, let us reason together. Every day is toasting. He's toasting. We tiny people that he can just do his hand like this, but he respects our will. Who are we? Because we senior somebody with 3 years. Then, okay. So that question again, yes. So know how you measure. There's something in this book, A Tale of Two Wives. I think I'll drop the link in this. It's called Your People Picker. How do you pick the people in your life? Tumi cannot ask me to do something and I will not consider it. She is running along the same vision I'm running. The things she does makes a difference in the world. I want to be a part of that. So this is how you weigh, you pick people. And let me just pick a couple here. You pick your people by saying, how do our visions align? How are our values aligning? And when you've picked somebody like this, nah, if my husband, if my parents call, it's just like daddy, mommy, was because they are the most respectful. Not just respectful of others, respectful of themselves. They are the most respectful people. I will listen to what they have to say. I may not agree, but they already have my audience. So pick the people in your life well. Pick your safe people. You might disagree, even in the board meeting. You might think that they should have been on your side. But if they come with data, they come from a point of principle, even you honor them, you shake hands. There's a reason why at the end of every election in America, they do this concession speech. Now election, it's not, do you understand? No person will kill. It's an election. So based on that, you now say, okay, we might not agree on this. They say marriages that last the longest are marriages that are able to live with unresolved differences. Why do you keep this toothbrush like this? I don't understand. Did they not raise you well? You keep doing this toothpaste like this? You can't even, unresolved what? Differences, be okay. Be okay with it. To me, you don't like using red lipstick every time pink is unresolved what? Differences. So have your boundaries on a level that, first of all, group the people in your life rightly, group them well. Holy of holies. You shouldn't be gisting somebody who is outside your deepest thing. Then tomorrow you're angry, they carried it out. To me, you said something very clear. You said some of your no's are reflexive. And that's something you do. When you have really owned your vision in January of the year, all your other no's stem from there because your calendar is already booked per your vision. Your money is already booked per your budget. Everything else now becomes this thing. Now, a place that my husband cannot touch in my life, a friend cannot touch. There's no betrayal. I don't understand. My husband does not talk to me like this or stress me like that. Who are you? Again, so you keep people where they belong in your life. Yeah, keep people where they belong.
Wow, amazing.
All right, thank you all so much.
We have the recording.
Yes.
Okay, yes, please. She's posted the link. I already clicked on it. I don't waste time.
And I think I put, I'll put the other one as well. And yeah, you guys, Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
I really enjoyed being
Just
with
give me
you,
2 or
Pastor.
3 minutes. I'm rounding up. I know your time is very.
Okay.
Please, if you think Bralade has been very inspiring, brilliant, and all that, can I say 1 in the chat room? Let me see the ones in the chat room. I say, can I say 1? Ufem is clapping. Okay.
It's coming from the inside.
It's coming from the inside. You know, she said something that kept resonating in the chat room, and I want us to close on this note. It says, don't let other people's mistakes define you. Now, I want to add a second line. Don't let your own mistakes define you. It's a mistake. It's in the past. And I know Bralade will not mind if I do this because I heard this from her on a platform. So please guess, this brilliant woman that was on TED Talk this year, that has written 2 books, that is doing leadership in Kiniko. She has worked in 3 continents. Please guess, what class of degree do you think she graduated with in her engineering class? So guess, first class, 2-1 upper, 2-1 lower, 2-1 middle. Okay. Bralade Omowego, George Apollo said you be first class material.
Is even 0
Okay.
class when I've already broken all the record.
So George says first class. Nathan says first class. Oh, please, can I have 2 more answers?
Oh my gosh. Oh gosh.
Okay. Susan says second class lower. Susan doesn't think you're that sharp. Okay.
Susan is trying to be realistic. Let it not be that.
Bad behavior.
Since you're already highlighting it, maybe I can
exactly,
guess.
because you are highlighting it. That's why I'm like beginning to guess, like, okay.
She don't know. It could be worse than that. She don't even know.
Ukeria says second class upper. Okay. Let us hear from the lady herself. Somebody said something greater than first class.
I know, things like that, because that's actually my level, you understand?
You know, so Bralade, please
Brethren
just
in the
tell
Lord.
us.
That Saturday was doing failure, something of, was it 2022 or was it last year?
2022, that was 2022.
Let me tell you something. Look, there's something, somebody put in the chat, futureself.com. Everybody needs to do that, that exercise, futureself.com. Is this psychologist, Dr. Benjamin Hardy? He talks about how to morph into your future self. And he talks about how personality is not stationary. This is my identity. This is how I am. This is who I am. Not for a transcendent person. And a transcendent person is on the evolutionary landscape. Just the same way you cannot recognize a butterfly as a caterpillar is the same way you cannot recognize. You will see this person be like, I don't understand, Susan, is that you? Susan used to talk before. Anyway, I had forgotten that your sister here did not do very well in school till she called me for that summit. And I said, wait, come again? Because in my mind, in my heart, I'm a first-class brain. This is not a confession. You know the way some people do affirmation, they are trying to believe it. I declare that I am the chosen of the Lord. I am the loved. No, my own is that if you pinch me, you ask me anywhere, I'm a first-class brain. Oh my gosh, my brain computes stuff. My brain synthesizes difficult things and it spits it out in the most concise, succinct, practical steps. That's who I believe I am. But this girl that believe all these things, what did she carry in school? After graduating the best in my secondary school with 8 A's, knowing math, I didn't used to study. I used to read novel till it's time for exam. I just walk into exam hall, do. That's how I went to university and did chemical engineering. I was even playing at first. I was like, is this a small thing? I graduated with a 3rd class degree, 3rd class chemical engineering, University of Port Harcourt. And I will count fewer things that are responsible for the success that I am today. After doing that, and I realized that, okay, these are the things that happened to me. Number 1, I had a fixed mindset. If I don't know this thing from the day it's taught to me, I don't care about it. And I know, Nathan, I know, even me, I'm shocked because I don't know that girl. He's not me, I'm not her. She should what? Mind her business because I'm not her. I cannot mind her business. This brother like 15.0. Yes, that one was since. I had this third class, but let me tell you something. If I had 2-2, I would have gone to work for a bank in Nigeria. If I had 2-1, maybe I would have tried to get work in NNPC or somewhere good. None of these would have been bad, right? But having had a third class, they're asking myself a deep question. You know the kind of things that even your classmates look at you like they're confused, Sha? Because they know that if you bring any Fourier theorem and something, you want to integrate, differentiate from first principles, this person can do it. How did this thing manage? Anyway, long story short, I went and did a process engineering master's degree and I had a distinction. So Nigeria University is among, but even though upon still, I cannot blame them because I have a responsibility for who? For myself, not any other. Nobody has a responsibility to me. Everything else might contribute, but we have the responsibility to change the circumstances of our lives. Because I know you might be looking at me now and say to me, you don't understand. You don't know what I've been through. You don't know what I've this. It doesn't matter. What matters now is how you're going to chart your course. And I just got a role now into senior leadership, and I'm leading 34 engineers, project engineers, other engineering leaders, civil engineers, chemical, and they're asking me to make decisions. And I'm looking at them. It's like when I first joined this company about a decade ago, this person was my technical coach's coach. You understand? It was my technical mentor's mentor. And today I'm here leading on. Do you know that your mistakes will put you in a place that will trump the person who was going in a straight line? It's almost like before you are about to accelerate, you know, when you take a step back so that you can really launch. That is what your mistakes have the potential to do for you if you can reframe. If you can reframe, because I can frame it and be like, that's why my life is like this. Let me end with this one. God help me. So then I used to write GCE because maths was so easy to me. They would just bring me the GCE paper. I'll be in the principal's office. I'll just write it all out. They'll now use that one to go and do inject. Don't worry, that time I was not born again. So please. They'll now use that one to go and do things and stuff. This was the person having third class. You know, the identity was not matching. But I decided who I was going to be, and I went for who I was going to be. I remember then, to me, I'll be cooking for weddings and stuff. I was 22 years old or so, because I was trying to raise money to go and do my master's in the abroad. There was no uncle, there was no this thing. We would be like, oh, this must be the person and all. So all my parents did was to add to my money. It's not now that Nigeria is even in entrepreneurial. But those lessons that I got, the one of that, if I don't know something, I don't feel ashamed anymore. I will ask, to me, how do they used to do this thing? Oh? Show me, teach me. If it takes me 10 times, before I used to feel shame because I'm supposed to be the smart one, right? I need to be able to know it straight off the bat. No, I don't feel that anymore. And it was a blessing that I had a third class as a young child rather than to have a third class in life. Don't carry your third class into life.
Yeah.
Yes, past the lessons.
Okay, so we've ended. It's 8 o'clock. Don't have your third class late in life. Have it early in life. Fail forward. She's dropped the link for her book in the chat. Please, everybody, click and buy.
Yeah.
Bralade did not give us any bill for this. And believe me, she's extremely busy. I'm not exaggerating.
Thank you so much for
She's
working.
not forming busy. She's not forming busy. Please, can we all unmute and tell her thank you? But go and buy the book, so it will help your life. Don't carry your thought. That's the one we are going with. Don't carry your thought in life. Oh, enjoy the rest of it. Unmute your mic. Let's say thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I really
Thank you, and God bless you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
So tomorrow is another day. We are having Ola, the money woman. You cannot afford to miss tomorrow. And for people that want to join the next read cohort, Kike, please quickly drop the link in the chat as we round up. So we have 4 links in the chat. We have link for Where's the Money? That is going at 40% discount. We have Bralade's Tale of Two Wives, and I have read the book. Don't worry. It's as in like in my mind right now. Immediately she dropped it, I was clicking it, and she's equally dropped the link for a second book. You've heard her speak. And so much wisdom. The Beauty of a book, you've not heard Bralade, believe me, you did not hear her. When you read a book, you will meet her, you will know her, and you will have very real life experience. The session still continues tomorrow. This is just the beginning. I'm a Yoruba woman, so permit me to speak a Yoruba adage. We are just bringing bird out of the pocket. You are saying it is black, it is blue. What have you seen? Please call your friend, your family, your enemies. Bring them, because we are making this world a better place. Susan, darling, please can we have the last words from you as we call it a night?
Okay, I think I would say, in the words of my favorite coach, if you are still sleeping on a bicycle, you are wrong. I think that's one of my favorite lines. But I think this is an amazing start to this year's summit. And I can only imagine what tomorrow is going to be like. So please clear out your calendars. You do not want to miss this. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you. And good night. Thank you, everybody. I tell me I'm looking beautiful. I'm transcending.